Okay, so I thought I would do this video to kind of do a follow-up video to the death wobble video and a couple other videos that are out there, and kind of explain why I haven't done a video in a while. It's been almost 2 months since I've done a video. The bike that you see over here, I don't know if you can see that. I can't see if it's in the frame or not. That's the one that had the so-called death wobble, tank slap. I don't really care what you call it. Something that I had never experienced on a bike before. I've had Harleys since 1979, so I've had my fair share of Harleys. Never had that happen on any one that I've ever owned. The closest that I ever came to that was the ultra classic, the Batwing fairing type of wobble. Nothing anywhere near as violent as what I experienced on this. So I trailed this bike down to the shop where I bought it from. I wanted those guys to tear the front end apart, have a look at the front end. I know it needed 2 new tires. I knew that, when I went in buying it. It needed some other work too, but I was hoping to get at least 1 season out of this bike. It turns out there was a bubble on the front tire. I never saw it, so I don't really know, if that's actually what it was. But I had to replace both tires in the bike. They also replaced the disc rotor on the front. I wanted to do disc rotor, so they actually replaced that too. They checked the calipers. They checked the neck bearing. They checked the everything with the front end. Everything with the front end seemed to be fine, what they told me. So I rode the bike home from the shop. It was about 20 miles, somewhere in that area, 18 to 20 miles. Bike ran perfect all the way home. So haven't had an issue with it since, but I haven't really ridden it a whole lot since either. And that's going to bring me up to another topic I'll be coming up on as to, again, why I haven't done videos. The second follow-up video I want to do is on the kitchen. I started uploading some pictures. I started uploading some pictures on the kitchen remodel we were doing. The kitchen remodel is done. That was done last Friday. So I will be doing a follow-up video on that to show you the progress that went on with the kitchen. That's probably going to be a couple of weeks down the road, as soon as I get a chance to edit some footage with that. So now I'll go into exactly why I haven't done videos in a couple of months. Back in May, I had a chest scan done, CT scan. Something showed up on the CT scan. I had a PET scan. And if you have a PET scan, generally what they're looking for is cancer. So I did have a tumor on the inside of my left lung, not the inside, but the inside, the closest to my center is where I had the tumor at. They weren't sure if it was cancer or not, because they couldn't do a biopsy because of the way it was. So I had to have surgery. My pulmonologist told me that once they take that out, it's gone. Even if it is cancer, I won't need any kind of chemotherapy or anything like that. So on June 24th is when I went into the hospital, had the surgery done. It was actually robotic surgery. The Da Vinci surgical robot actually did all the surgery on me on my left side. There's only 4 incision marks, about maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 inches long, from where the robot had the 4 probes in me, doing its work. The doctor's controlling it on a big TV screen, so the doctor really doesn't have to do a whole lot to me. In times before, what they basically had to do was cut you right up the side. They had to break a couple ribs to get at your lungs, and it was a pretty painful and long recovery. My recovery has been pretty good. I'm ahead of schedule right now on the recovery. All those wounds are all healed up. I am on supplemental oxygen. I'm not using it right now, but so you might be able to tell in my voice. I'm going to cough every once in a while because that's just how things are. But when they took that, we'll call it a tumor, they did a biopsy of it. They did find it was cancerous. They also found out that the top left lobe of my lung was cancerous also, so they had to do what they call the wedge resection, upper left lobectomy, which means they take the top 1/3 of my left lung. As a result of that, I'm cancer-free in my lungs. I have no cancer at all. that was determined that it was non-small cell lung cancer, which is directly related to smoking. I smoked, for over 40 years, so no surprise that I got lung cancer. I certainly wasn't surprised over it. I spent 7 days in the hospital. I got discharged July 1st, and I was pretty doped up in the hospital. They had me on morphine. When I came home, they had me on oxycodone. I did have a chest tube in my side, and you can see in this picture that I think it's 300 milliliters, if I remember right, is what they drained out of my chest. In order to do that surgery, they actually had to collapse my left lung. I knew that going in. I didn't know they were going to take the top 1/3 of my lung. I didn't know that. They called my wife actually while I was still under, and they were in surgery saying that that's cancerous and we have to take that part of his lung out. So yeah, so that's pretty much the reason why. Also in that PET scan, I didn't mention this before, something lit up in my rectum too. I did have a colonoscopy about a week after I had that PET scan. Nothing showed up in the colonoscopy, so now I'm questioning the doctors, well, what lit up, in this PET scan. They couldn't tell me. So after I had my surgery, for lung cancer, it was about maybe 2 weeks ago. I had an MRI of my pelvis to see if there was anything there. That came back absolutely clean. So the only thing they can think of is that I probably had some sort of infection there when I went in for surgery, and the antibiotics I was taking, pre-surgery, and probably, clear that infection up. They don't really know. Till this day, they don't know. But as long as everything comes back clean, I'm happy with that. So I kind of got a feeling that probably my riding is over for this year. I'm still under a weight restriction as far as how much I can lift. And if I'm on a bike and it starts to go over, I don't know that I'm going to have the strength to stop it. So my wife's probably not going to let me ride, just because I'm under these doctor's orders right now. She is an RN, so she kind of knows, what I'm going through dealing with other people at the hospital that are, in similar circumstances when they have surgery and stuff like that. I'm hoping I can get at least one ride in before it gets too cold up here in New England. So that means possibly November. I'm maybe looking at if I can get into a ride in November sometime, because I think by then I'll be off any kind of weight or lifting restriction, and I can just move forward. So that's the reason why you haven't seen a video in a couple months. I'm still in kind of a recovery mode right now. I am going to have the video out on the kitchen remodel probably next week. I still have to do some editing on some of those videos and do a final video of the how the kitchen turned out. So I did have a huge shed installed in the back part of the property last week. They finished that, so maybe I'll do a short video on that. I'll show you that, with some other stuff. So don't forget to subscribe. If you do subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell icon. You'll get notified when I upload. I'm going to try to get on a weekly schedule to upload as soon as I'm out of this health issue and I'm breathing better. And I'm breathing better, and I'm breathing better. Like I said, they have me on supplemental oxygen. I generally don't use it around the house unless I'm exerting myself. I take it out when we go in the car, but I don't really use it in the car. So it's getting a little better. Before I had to be on oxygen all the time when I first got home. So again, don't forget to subscribe. I want to thank everybody that subscribed to the channel from that Death Wobble video. I don't know how that got the views it got. It was up there for a while, and it seemed like last week or the week before that it just skyrocketed. I think it's up to over 30,000 views now. So thanks for that. Whoever, all the people that watched that, I wish you'd all subscribed to the channel that watched it. That would have been pretty cool. But I am going to have some videos coming up, and you'll just have to click that bell icon to know when I do it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.